Hi guys, it's Benny here, and in this video I'm going to teach you how to meal prep in bulk extra fast. Now, if you're like me, you're super busy, you're on the go, so once the week kind of starts, I don't really have much time to meal prep, and I certainly don't feel like meal prepping. So meal prepping for me is something that I do on the weekend, and I try and systemize that by doing my weekly shopping list on a Friday, automating that through Woolies or Coles shopping online, doing click and collect to save myself time, going and getting exactly what I need to then go and prep the food I need for the next week or the next fortnight. So I've done that, I've gone to Woolies, I've done my click and collect order, and this is everything I need to bulk prep about 30 meals. So I'm going to do this in less than an hour to show you that you can do this at home. And no, it doesn't need to take you lots of time. In fact, it'll only take you an hour, but you just got to get stuck into it. You got to create a bit of a flow. And then once you kind of start getting used to food prep, you'll start to kind of systemize this and find out what works for you. But today we're going to be cooking Moroccan chicken and basmati rice with some green beans. That's going to be my main protein meal. And then I'm also going to be cooking a really cool veggie stir fry mix. Also going to be showing you some of the other things that I use as well, just to automate my nutrition throughout the week. So this is what I got in my nutrition shopping list. I've got some quick oats here, that's an essential staple. I've got some quinoa grain. I've got a selection of different types of veggie mixes. So I've got black beans, red kidney beans, chickpeas, brown lentils. I've also got some Spud-Lite baby potatoes. These are great for roasting or just to kind of throw in salads. Really love these. Some Riviana basmati rice. I've got the 5 kilo pack, but you might see it slightly different in the shops. This is the lowest amount of carbohydrate in any form of rice that you'll find. I've also got some unsweetened almond milk. So that's got virtually 0 calories in that. So I have that with my tea and my coffee. For my protein, I've got some whiting skin-on fillets. These are great, actually really economic. They're really good price, but you can get all of your protein from these. I've got some baby beans, some seasonal stir-fry mix. Now for me, I do buy fresh vegetables, but when I'm under the pump and I'm trying to do meal prep in bulk, I'd rather have a healthy option. Even if it is frozen, it's still much more healthy than buying takeaway or something like that. I've also got my own variant of protein powder here, but you could use your own form of WPI or WPC protein throughout the week. So those are kind of some of my staples. I've also got some Riviana basmati rice that I've already prepared, as well as my Moroccan chicken, which I've spiced overnight. So this is just chicken breast. It's been cut up, spiced with some oregano, mixed herbs, and some Moroccan seasoning. But herbs are so important when you're cooking your meat. So don't be afraid to go overboard with the herbs, because there's no calories in herbs. Now, I've also got meal prep containers, and most importantly, I've got a set of these Gorilla scales. You can pick these up at Bunnings. They're only like 20 bucks. They're super durable. They give you a really accurate reading, and this is what I use to help make sure that I'm getting the same amount of food in each and every meal that I have. So let's start the clock, get this started, and I guarantee you I'm going to get 30 meals done in the next hour and show you how simple and effective this will be and how you can implement this into your personal routine. So when it comes to meal prep, I would call myself an expert. Reason being, we used to have a meal prep business which used to do over 500 meals per week for clients. So during that period of time, you learn a few tricks on how to increase the speed of your cook. So if you want to increase the speed of your cook, if you don't want to spend the whole day in the kitchen, the key is to get your cooked ingredients on first. So in this case, this is our chicken. We need to get the quinoa going. Also need to get the fish in the oven. And then I'll have some the vegetables and the pumpkin to boil as well. So we're going to get that going, and then I can move into mixing and draining the vegetables, the chickpeas, the lentils, and start to combine all those ingredients. So yes, you do have a few things all going on at once. And then while other things are cooking, that gives you an opportunity to start to dish out into your meal prep containers. So we're about to get stuck into this. I'm about to get the timer going. 1 hour on the clock, and I'm guaranteeing you I'm going to get these 30 meals done in an hour. Let's get after it. So the cooker's underway. I've got the quinoa going. So just 1 cup of quinoa grain with 2 cups of water. that's on. I've also got my mixed vegetables on the stove, and I'm about to get my Moroccan chicken going now as well. So this pan is just lightly oiled with some rice bran spray. And this is a lovely, lovely mix of Moroccan chicken, oregano, mixed herbs. Cooks really well. And I've got a kilo of chicken there, which is going to be enough to do about 10 meals of 100 grams of cooked chicken. So I'll cover this, let this cook up, make sure it cooks all the way through, and then I'll start to add that into my basmati rice and green beans mix as well. The next thing that I need to do is I need to get the whiting fillets into the oven as quickly as possible so I can get that cooking and start to work through the rest of the cook. So these are skin-on portions. Just going to lay them out. They've basically defrosted. So on a baking tray, and these are amazing. Just for a really cost-effective way of getting your protein up. Spread them out like so. Make sure they all fit. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add some Vegeta Gourmet seasoning to the top, as well as some mixed herbs. So we can just sprinkle those over the top. Alright, things are going good. The Moroccan chicken is done on the stove, and now I'm about to start preparing the pumpkin, and this is going to go with the fish meal. Now, interesting fact about pumpkin is that it's actually one of the lowest natural carbohydrate sources we can have. So in 100 grams of cooked pumpkin, there's only about 7 or 8 grams of carbohydrates. Now compare that to something like pasta. If you have 100 grams of cooked pasta, there's about 70 grams of carbohydrate. So that's 10 times more calorie dense. So 10 times more likely to store on your body. So pumpkin is a great source of carbohydrates, especially if you're wanting to burn fat. And with something like white fish, it's super lean and it's really beautiful as well. So I'm going to cut this up, and then I'm going to also dress this in some Tuscan seasoning, and then that's going to go into the oven to roast, and it's going to come out looking really good. Alright, so things are moving along. Chicken is cooked, rice is cooked, quinoa is cooked, pumpkin is in the oven with fish, and I've just finished boiling the mixed vegetables. So I've drained those, and this is going to go into a big mixing bowl, and this is going to form the base of, the steam, form the base of the vegetarian stir-fry mix that I made. Amazing meal, really good for your digestion. So we've got black beans, brown lentils, butter beans here, got some chickpeas, red kidney beans, and I've also got some whole peel tomatoes to add to the sauce. Now you can get a little bit naughty with this sauce. I've got this Barilla ricotta sauce. I just love the taste of it. I'll be putting 2 of these into the mix, and this will do about 10 to 12 meals at around about 300 grams per meal. So all you got to do is obviously open all these up, drain them, add it all together, and I'll show you the next. So I've drained all the mixed veggies and washed them. Also put the vegetables in here. I've got the whole peel tomatoes and the quinoa just cooling down, ready to all mix in. So it's pretty simple. Just add everything in. So this is the quinoa, quite warm right now. I have to burn myself. Just going to give that a pour. So all that goes in. And quinoa is just such a great binding agent as well for this recipe. It just kind of really brings everything together. Get all of that in there. Lovely. So that's going to go in. And then the mixed vegetables, so these have been drained. That's going to go in. So you can see all the health that goes into this meal. And then we're going to add the sauce. So we've got 2 of the Barilla ricotta, so that goes in the top. really starting to come together now. And all that's left to add is the black beans, which is in the microwave. So I'll grab that now, and then I'll give it a mix, and we'll start to dish this up. So the mixing is done, and I'm ready to portion out into the meal prep containers. Just before I finished, I added in some black peppercorns and also some dried chilies, just to give it a little bit of extra bite. But that's personal preference, you don't have to do that. And then the key is you want to put your meal prep container down, you want to press on, and then you want to press tear. And that makes sure that every time you put a new meal prep container on, you just can keep doing that, keep the flow. And it's going to take account for this. These are 17 grams for each meal prep container. Right, so I want to put 300 grams in each container. So you want to try and get a bit of a system going, get a bit of a feel for how much you need. So just starting to get that. Now it's nice to use a spatula for this because it just pours straight in really easy at 1, 2, drop it on, and that was 295 straight off the bat. So all I gotta do is add a little bit more in, 300 on the dot, perfect. That one's done. And then you go through and you just keep rinsing and repeating this technique. And what you'll find is that you become very skilled at getting very close to the desired amount that you want, around 250 to 300 grams. I put a little bit too much in that one, that was 320. So I just gotta pull a little bit out. Beautiful. And then we go on. So this is gonna save you a bunch of time rather than doing a lot of meals at once. Now, one of the mistakes I used to make was that, yes, I'm cooking everything at once, which is what you should be doing, but you shouldn't be dishing up and portioning everything at once because you're getting a feel for whatever meal you're doing. So next up, I'm going to do the rice and the chicken, and I'm going to finish 10 of those, and then I'll move on to the next one after that, the fish and the pumpkin. So we're in the second half now, we're at 40 minutes, and so far 12 meals down. I've got 12 prepped portion meals, all completely exactly the same, so I can get nutritional consistency. That's my stir-fry veggie mix done. These are going to go in the fridge, but they also store really well in the freezer. So if you want to put them straight away in the freezer, and then they thaw out really well and they eat amazing. So give these. Okay, next portion up is the Moroccan chicken and basmati rice and green beans. So my numbers for these, I want to have around about 35 to 40 grams of carbohydrate. I'm a male, I'm around about 90 kilos. So my caloric needs per day are around about 22 to 2400. If you're a female, we're looking more around 14 to 1600. And if you're a smaller size male, maybe around 1800 to 2000 calories, if that gives you a little bit of guidelines. But if you've got a food plan from me, just stick to the portions from that. Now with the basmati rice, I can have around about 150 grams of that, and that's going to give me around about 35 grams of carbohydrate. So that's my number, and I'm just going to do the same process as before, dishing it in. You've got to be careful with that. Now, little technique, you want to try and, this is why I like to use a spatula because it fits in there perfectly, and then you can just press the rice up to one side, and then you've got space to put your chicken in. Right, so I've got 9 of my rice meals prepped up. Didn't quite get 10, but that sometimes it happens. So you're always never really cooking to an exact number, just trying to prep as many meals as you can, right? So we've got this ready to go. Got our Moroccan chicken. Now we're gonna redo the tear once this is on because these are all exactly the same. So now I've got some accurate numbers to work with. And I'm just gonna add in 100 grams of my cooked chicken. It's a little bit too much. 119. Awesome. Sometimes you're going to find a smaller piece. Perfect. That's 150. That's 100 grams of rice and 100 grams of chicken. These into a little kind of nice little arrangement on top of the rice. Just kind of looks a bit more appealing. Makes you actually want to eat the healthy food, which is good. And you just assort them on there. So a small handful around about that size there is around about 50 grams, and that's going to be enough to hit my fiber needs in this meal as well. And just complements the meals with a little bit of vegetables. So I like green beans, but you could have your own forms of greens if you like. Next up is portioning our fish for our fish and pumpkin meal. So I've got some lovely pieces of these skin on whiting here, and that's just kind of marinated really nicely. So I'm just going to put that in the bottom there, and I'm actually just going to cut them in half and then place them up to one end. That way they fit in nicely. So that fits really well. You can actually cut them on here in half and then just pop them on top of each other, and then portion directly into your container, just like that. And that's a really good portion of protein there. And last but not least, we are ready to dish up the pumpkin into these beautiful whiting fillets, as well as my green beans. So this is the final one. It's been an awesome cook. I'm not gonna lie, I've had to push hard to get it done in an hour, but I'm right on an hour now, and I'm almost finished. So really happy with how the cook's gone. I've got some beautiful meals, and the best thing is I've got 30 meals in the fridge that I can either freeze or have there ready to go, which is gonna last me more than a week. And I've got something there that's gonna save me time, and it's also healthy. So whenever I'm feeling like I want to buy something, that's not the healthiest things for me, I can go straight to the fridge and get something conveniently that tastes really good. And that's the most important thing. So take the time to make your food moist so you can eat it, and it's like it goes down easy, but make it taste good, and you can add all the herbs and spices to your own fancy. Hope that gives you an insight into how simple and effective and efficient meal prep can be. So if you have any questions, just hit the comment below. Feel free to send me an email at ben@livefit.com.au, and I'll endeavour to help make this process so much more simple for you, so that you can start to implement this on the weekend, so that when the week comes around, you've got meals prepped, and you can eat consistently and get sustainable fat loss. I'll see you in the next video.